Good afternoon. This is Passionate Bliss, and I'm here with this episode of Married at First Sight. It is covering episodes 13, 14, and 15. I can start out with Courtney and Nick. Courtney and Nick say, Courtney's continuing to say, I don't think that you're being the real you and you don't have an opinion, and I have someone to, and I have somehow shut that off in you. So he does admit to her criticism shutting him down and has caused him to gauge how he acts based on her mood. So he can't really be his true self because she shuts him down when he is his true self. She doesn't like his true self. And he is finally figuring that out, and that he dials back his personality. He gets no reciprocation from her. She complains about him, and she only compliments him when they're in a group setting in front of other people. So, she is at this point, I feel like, gaslighting, but you can't criticize and shut somebody down and then demand that they open up and be themselves and let you get to know them. He says she invalidates him before he's even finishing speaking and saying what he's saying. And so he finally admits on camera that it's an incompatibility, and that it's not something that can be fixed, and they're not going to get over it. So he finally does go ahead and admit that they're just incompatible. And she's still trying to claim that she wants to know him, and he's not letting her get to know him. And he says it's not romantic. So at the end, they go to the dinner and they agree to end it with the therapist. So, and then when he ends it, he tried to end it compatibly and said he's glad he went through this with her. She then shuts that down and contradicts him and cuts him off there. So he can't even have a goodbye speech with her without her picking it apart, his statement. And so she then goes to Adam on her way out and says, well, keep in touch or whatever. She signals to Adam that she still wants him to keep in touch because Adam is who she really likes. Adam is who she thinks is the hottest in the group. And Adam shuts her down and is like, no can do. Ain't gonna do it. And so that's how they end. So Courtney and Nick the MAGA couple put themselves out of their own misery, and they get off of the show and out of our face, which is good. I wish Devin and Caitlin would do the same. Michelle and Cameron, it seems like they're trying to make up imaginary problems because they don't have any. He's expressing his fears about how it's going to go in the future after 20 years if they get tired of each other. Like, 20 years ain't happened. You might get killed in a bus wreck 2 years from now. So what are you talking about in 20 years if we get tired of each other? They sound like they're trying to make up some problems because they don't have no problems. These two are actually very close to saying that they are in love. He has a burnt out, kind of moody day, and she handles it like a champ. She takes him out. She says, take a break. Let's don't worry about getting our chores done or whatever we got to get done today. Let's just take a break. They go to the park. They look like they have a little picnic. They look at other people. They do some people watching in the park, trying to guess how long the couple getting married was together, how long they dated, etc. And it turns out to be a lighthearted day when he started out being down in the dumps, which is what hopefully your significant other does for you. They meet her parents. I think that's a parent, or is it an aunt? Excuse me. It's an older Asian woman married to an older white man, and they've been together for decades, it seems like. And they're asking, how do you keep it together? This is actually the perfect example for the two of them to see at this point, to help put their fears aside about being together for years and years, and how will it be? Which is crazy because most people that are young and in love don't even consider that 20 years I'll get tired of you. So I think they're really just trying to dream up some problems so they could have some problems to talk about, because really they're not having any problem. And also Cameron makes the decision that he's going to be blunt and direct with all these other couples about their relationships at the dinner when they have their next group dinner. Devin and Caitlin, she felt that the past week has been positive, and she's talking about after their previous dinner. She felt like the past week had been positive, but felt blindsided that he was saying at the table that he wasn't happy and that he did feel diminished. She then makes a suggestion that as a part of their relationship progressing, she goes to bed before him. and basically goes to sleep before he gets there. He has to suggest that they be able to cuddle in bed. She says, cuddling to me is sitting on the opposite end of the couch from you and putting my legs on you from across the couch. He said he likes that idea. So again, he's settling for less. That's not a cuddle. Okay. He says that she is opening up more to him, that she shared some trauma about where her trust issues come from. Sounds like might be another possible date rape victim here. But that's just me guessing, because I don't understand weirdness like this. I really don't. My human connections with people have been normal, and so I don't understand her and this standoffishness. It's insane to me. I think that whatever she told him about her traumas in the past relationship has made him give space and respect her trauma, and he seems like he's more at ease or more relaxed and more accepting of her distance that she puts up, knowing that it's trauma based. And so he seemed like he's made space for that, and he's respecting her distance based off of that. And so he's not like, this ain't gonna work, I don't want this marriage. So he's not talking definite like that anymore the way he was, because I think he's trying to make space for what she has been through. She meets his grandma online. They didn't share us that conversation. Then she goes to dinner with their dad, and she brings up an example in their relationship where she's making progress because now she lets him know when she's leaving the house. So this heifer has been walking out the house and don't tell the man that she's married to that she's even leaving the home. So he's sitting there in the back room thinking, my wife is out in the living room, or my wife is, in the kitchen. Come to find out, this heifer has left the house. So that's the kind of relationship she want to have, when you can walk out the house, get in a car accident, and be dead down the street, and he think you still in the den. This is crazy to me. So she mentions this in front of her daddy, and her daddy tells her, well, yeah, you got to realize the truth. You got to get over that. You're not on your own anymore. So even her family, again, just like Courtney family, is willing to admit she's the weirdo. So, I'm waiting for Devin and Caitlin to leave. They really should have left the same time as Courtney and Nick, honestly. Bella and Mecca, let's see. They shared some more childhood trauma. She shared the childhood trauma of poverty. So his mother, even though she's a biracial preference, she got treated like Jack-ish by all the man in her life, and ended up being divorced and alone with, I think, 5 kids, she said. And they were really poor to the point where they didn't even have meals to eat. The mother would go days without eating so that they could eat. And she said she's even had toothpaste as a meal before. But even through all of that, they found a way to celebrate everybody's birthday. Everybody had, all them 5 kids, they all had a special day. And so clearly, birthdays mean a lot to her and her family. So when her birthday comes, a few days later, he goes all out with flowers, candles, enough candles to set off the fire alarm. He gets her these nice gifts, and she loves it and is blown away at his thoughtfulness. Mecca is then at the dinner trying to prompt her to admit that she loves him while not being willing to say that he loves her himself. So they both agree that they're in the neighborhood of love, but not in love. Bella, I think, is actually in love, and he wants her to admit this first. I think Bella, Mecca is he's a little bit borderline narcissistic, playing some kind of game with her. He wants her to admit that she's in love with him, but don't want to say that he's in love with her. Then why do you need her to admit it? If you ain't willing to admit it, why do you need her to admit it? So he's playing some kind of weird game with her. So she refuses to say it first, and she is correct to do so. And Mecca is saying that he would say yes, and they both came to the conclusion together that on the day, if the day was today, and that their intention on that day is to say yes, that they will stay together and stay married. Okay. Tori and Felipe, she is upset that Felipe brought up for the first time that he still wants to sleep around and thinking about going out. She's upset about that he brought it up at the table before he ever brought it up to her. She doesn't like his uncertainty, and it seems like emotional immaturity to her. Tori is then having a conversation with him, tiptoeing around, asking him to help walk her dog and cleaning up. She tells him, "You aren't trying to find out about me, about who she is." He says that he's all in, and at the group session, Tori says his indecision is tiresome. Philippe says he's all in, and he agrees to prove it to her. He claims that realizing how much he likes her has scared him into this indecision. I don't believe that. He's committed to proving it to her and apologizing for making her feel like he doesn't like her. He asks her for a hug. To me, that makes me feel like she has not turned back on the physical intimacy. Because the way he asked for the hug, he was like, can I have a hug? It was like he didn't know if she was going to say no or not. So I feel like she cut that intimacy off and never cut it back on, and that's what his real issue is. I really think that, but they're not saying that. He admits during the therapy session to taking his commitment to her one day at a time, and he feels like that helped him turn some kind of a corner about his indecision to only commit to today because all you have is today. For someone who's a commitment phobe, I guess that makes sense, and that is okay. But for someone who's married, that does not make sense. That is not okay. A marriage is a commitment for the future, not a commitment for day to day. So he then, after that, he has a sauna date with candles, charcuterie board. They walk down memory lane. They have the photo of their marriage. It ends in kisses. I don't see what's changed. I still didn't see him make an effort to get to know her, about her, but maybe it's happening off camera and I don't see it, but okay. Let's see, Nikki and Sean, they're discussing financing, investing for the future, and they are aligned in that area. They have a fun date that's right up her alley. She says she's still trying to build chemistry. Nikki looks panicked when they talk about romantic and physical connection time. She looks resentful at the dinner that he's pushing to meet her family, and she agrees that he can meet her mother and vice versa. They find a little wine bar that he takes her to, which it features chocolate and wine, which is right up her alley. They're both her favorites. They're sipping wine, eating chocolate, sharing childhood stories. This creates enough of an intimacy for them to get physical enough that night for her to determine that they are sexually compatible. And that sparks are flying, she says. Then they get to the couple's dinner. Okay. The couple's dinner, Marissa and Adam, she admits that he has compromised some on those physical activity demands, but not enough. Sean told Adam that he didn't have the vocabulary or the emotional intelligence to describe how he feels, and asked if his family is like that. And he feels, of course, attacked, and Marissa defends him. He asked Marissa, "Do you feel like he expressed your feelings?" She said, "Yeah, he does. Of course, because you just attacked him and told him he had low IQ and low emotional intelligence and low vocabulary. So, of course, she's going to defend him now." That wouldn't have been the way to come at it, but, he basically attacked the man. Mecca and Belle, they admit that they have love for each other and decided that they will say yes on decision day. He then screws himself before it's all over, saying that he wasn't initially attracted to Bella. And she was like, "What? I thought you said 80%, 150%, which just means you twice as attracted to me. That don't mean that you wasn't attracted." So she's like, "What is that?" So they're having a side conversation at the table where he basically says, yes, that he felt that she was pretty when he saw her, but didn't know if she was pretty enough for him. Now, I'm through with Mecca. Because Mecca is acting like he's a dime. He's acting like he's a 10 on a 1 to 10 scale when he's not. Well, I'm here to tell you, Mecca, her cute matches your cute. You are not cuter than her. She is not cuter than you. Y'all at the exact same level of cute. In fact, I think Bella is too cute for you. Honestly. Bella is about a 8 out of a 10, and you about a 7 or a 7. I would say, honestly, I would say Bella's a 7 and he's a 7. Bella, when she gets dressed up, is a 8. You are still a 7. Bella is cuter than you. So him being on his high horse talking about she's cute, but is she cute to him? Now I'm back to thinking you actually want white women, or even Chinese, because she was very much offended by Cameron's wife, the Asian. So I feel like you might like Asians or white women. Because what are you talking about? That Bella isn't cute enough. Most men that I know would look at Bella and say she's a 10. And Mecca apparently thinks he's a 10. I've dated dudes that look better than Mecca. So what are you talking about? Mecca done got on my nerves. And honestly, I feel like if I was Bella, I would have checked out on Mecca at that. Because I know how men are. If a man is not attracted to you, he's not going to grow attracted to you. So him actually coming out of his mouth and saying I wasn't attracted to Bella at first, that would be enough for me to end that and say no on decision day. Because that's what I know about men. If they're not attracted to you when they first meet you, they're never going to be attracted. She's always going to be my average looking wife or my ugly wife. Because that's the mentality that he have about her. If I was her, I would end that. Honestly, she needs to. Because he's always going to be treating her as if you're lucky to have me. You're glad that I settled for you. Because that's what I'm hearing. I settled for you because of your great personality. And just like he embarrassed her at that dinner and said that, he's going to embarrass her in the future and say that. Oh, I wasn't attracted to your mama. I didn't think she was pretty enough for me. That's his attitude. She needs to dump, honestly, she needs to dump Mecca. I'm through with Mecca, actually. I'm about finished with Mecca. And Bella does not need to settle for this. You know, I get that she wants to love him and make up for his mama not being there and fill him up and fill up his cup and all that. But this dude is just not it. He's not it. He don't deserve no good woman. He deserves exactly what he's been getting, honestly. And she's done too much and been over backwards for him. Let's see. Sean and Nikki. So when Sean and Nikki gets around to their turn to talk, the room is, of course, hostile to him because he came out and attacked Adam. Unsolicited for no apparent reason. Adam even said, I've been kind to him. I've done nothing. I've never said anything ugly to him. I've been nothing but kind to him. So why would he come for me like that? I don't know. But he shares their good times, how he feels closer to her, and he's closer to possibly saying yes. The group says they aren't getting romantic vibes from them. They aren't buying that it's perfect now. When y'all was fighting like cats and dogs, you have one intervention and now it's all perfect. Adam, of course, is the one saying, I don't buy it. Nikki shares that the romanticism has grown for her and they've had some physical intimacy, that sparks are flying now. She's not giving y'all no details, but she's feeling him a little bit more, and so she's letting him know that. And I think in the case of Nikki and Sean, because she's not physically attracted to him, he's not her type, I think it's a case that he would have to actually put his hands on her to start the spark in order for her to feel a spark for him. And I kind of feel like that is what happened. Because eventually, if he's good physically, it sounds like he was pretty good at handling her physically. And she was appreciative of that. And she feels like now something romantic can grow from that. Because he's actually put his hands on her and he might have a few skills that started a spark. And in that case, I think that a lot of times, I've actually had that experience myself personally, that they have to actually put their hands on you for you to start the spark, for you to feel the spark. And it could become the case that she very much does, crave his touch and his attention. Right now, it's just not there. At the dinner, let's see, Caitlin and Devin. He says it's progressing, but they need to work on it in other areas. And when they ask him what are the other areas, turns out she has cut out all physical intimacy whatsoever. They all admit that they shouldn't stay married to someone that they haven't screwed, except Devin and Caitlin. Everybody at the table says, I would not say yes to staying married to somebody that I haven't screwed. Or I would not stay married to somebody that I haven't screwed. They all say that. And Devin and Caitlin are the only ones acting like that's not normal. Even the goody-goody couple, the Asian and Cameron, are saying, even the Asian says, no, I wouldn't stay with somebody I hadn't hooked up with, honestly. So they're being ridiculous. even though Devin has tried to make space for her trauma, and he's trying to act like he's on her team with this foolishness. But it's just foolishness. And I feel like he's going to say no on decision day. But I think he's going to see the process out all the way through. He's going to bend over backwards to try to accommodate her. But Devin is going to get to that altar and say no, because ain't nobody doing that with you. Tori and Felipe. Felipe got cooked again this week. The group was not feeling his daily commitment only. Tori said that kind of indecision is unacceptable to her. And Tori, at this point, is full on going to say no on decision day if Felipe hasn't done something to make her feel like he's in for the long haul. Felipe says that he doesn't like that his wife did not defend him, especially when she knows that what they're saying is not true. Because they told him it sounded like you committed to dating. You didn't commit to being married. It sounded like you committed to day-to-day dating, which is dating, not being married. And you signed up for a marriage show. Honestly, I think Felipe's problem is that she turned off the sex and has not turned it back on. Because they've all told him, you're not going to get better than Tori. They've all told him that. And that's really the case for most of these men. They got good women like Felipe, Mecca, Sean. These guys have gotten women that they would never have been able to get on their own. And so, them acting the way they're doing is crazy. Cameron, who says that he's going to be honest and not pull no punches, he tells them at the table 3 of these couples should not even be married at all. And by those 3, he meant Tori and Felipe, Caitlin and Devin, and Sean and Nikki. Which I agree with him, except for Sean and Nikki. Because Sean and Nikki are very compatible. But they don't feel the need to perform that in front of these people at these tables, and so they don't. Let's see. So my predictions, because now we're down to 6 couple. Marissa and Adam, I still feel that they're going to say yes. Because they continue to avoid deep conversations. It's possible that Marissa might say no, but I don't see Marissa doing that. I think that Marissa and Adam are both going to say yes. Mecca and Belle, I think, they've already said that they agree they're both going to say yes. But Mecca may actually shoot himself in the foot and have Belle say no. I feel that Belle should say no. I feel that if I'm going backwards to Marissa and Adam, Marissa should say no. Belle should say no. Sean and Nikki, I think that the 2 of them should probably say yes. Because they are very compatible, except that she's claiming she's not physically attracted to him. But if you don't get physical with him, how you going to know? It seemed like she did, and she was a little bit more attracted. So I feel like they may grow. I think they should both say yes at this moment, but I could change that only because Nikki is not acting like she wanting to sleep with this man. Caitlin and Devin, they should both say no. Tori and Felipe, they should both say no. And that's my thoughts on that. So what do you guys think? How do y'all think it's going? I'm through with Mecca. Yeah, I'm about through with Mecca. And so let me know what y'all think. Y'all have sweet dreams. Wait to find them real. Subscribe, comment, all of the above.